Let's look at the rookie Jason Hopper as we are underway. 13:39.61 is the time to beat. Belongs to Scott Panchik. 10 wall walks to open up with, and then 10 thrusters at 185 pounds.
That is a fast time that Panchik put down in heat number 1. And what you have to make sure of is that you do not put yourself in too much of a hole as you work through your first 10, 9, and sets of 8 reps, because that's nearly almost to the halfway mark in the first 3 rounds alone. Save your intensity for the second half of that 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Brent Fikowski, Noah Olson, Justin Medeiros, Fiona Koski, and Brandon Luckett are your leaders early on here. Brent Fikowski coming in unofficially 3rd place overall.
Fikowski's one of those athletes who, in the open, he kind of bucked the trend of this is a small guy event in 21.1, and he had himself, actually, he had 15th best of time in the world in 21.1. That was basically just a wall walk event. Now you throw in a heavy barbell. His efficiency on the wall walk is second to none of any athlete in this field.
Justin Medeiros on the left of your screen was the first man to get to work on his 10 thrusters at 185 pounds, and he's going to break. Brent Fikowski continues to work. Noah Olson has now taken the lead at the 20 rep mark. That is when they will move back to the wall for their round of 9.
And what that break is doing is it's relieving some tension. Time under tension, sitting in a rack position, smokes the shoulders. Having to press it overhead, smokes the shoulders. And all wall walks do is smoke the shoulders. So these are very concerted efforts to make sure that they give them shoulders a little bit of a reprieve so that they can keep a decent, steady pace on the wall walks. Now watch Brent Fikowski. Brent Fikowski does about 2 or 3 steps. Look how high he gets up on the wall and then moves his hand. 1, 2, 1, 2. No one in the field moves that easily through this like Brent Fikowski does.
And you mentioned his performance in the open, and if you watch that video, his movement is nearly perfect.
And you think about this, is what do we see about the best of the best, the Rich Fronings and the Matt Frasers and the Tia Tumis, is that they move so efficiently, never out of control, just good, efficient movement. And what does that do? It allows you to be stronger later in the event. How often did you see some of these athletes have a slow start, wondering if they're going to finish well, and then just race by the field in the last round of the event? That comes with efficient, smooth, steady, controlled movement in the beginning part of these events.
I always said one of the easiest jobs at the CrossFit Games was Rich Froning's judge.
Exactly.
Just count. Justin Medeiros continues to lead, 27 reps down out of the 110 scored repetitions in this event. Brent Fikowski, Noah Olson, Saxon Panchik, and Pat Vellner has crept up into 5th place in this heat, but still a lot of work to do here. 13:39.61. That is the time to beat belongs to Scott Panchik. He did that in heat number 1.
See Noah Olson keeping pace with Fikowski and Medeiros. Olson, great overhead, great upside down, good quality gymnastics. For him, it's just making sure he picks the right pace early in the events.
Noah Olson trying to catch Brent Fikowski and Justin Medeiros, and we mentioned Pat Vellner. He has some great people in his corner. One of them is his coach, Michelle Latondra, and she is with Mike Arsenault.
Thank you very much, Sean. Michelle, once again, a very tough rough start for Pat. 35th place in event number 1, but great performances in event 2 and 3. What was the message to him after leaving the lake?
Well, I didn't get to see him, but we knew that this swim was going to be a tough battle. It's like that every year. We work on it, but Pat is so good at moving on and just letting things go behind him and focusing on the next thing. I wasn't worried for him mentally at all. He's just extremely adaptable. So his focus is always on the next event.
Let's talk physically, because we've had a very shoulder-intensive day 1 here at the 2021 Noble CrossFit Games. What was the strategy with this event? Because the shoulder work continues with the wall walks and the thrusters.
Obviously, the strategy is to be careful on those thrusters. The sticking point of this workout, where people will either fall back or move forward, is in the 7th, like 8th or 7th round. So really, it's about managing shoulders until then and seeing how you feel, and then making sure transitions aren't rushed.
tomorrow's a rest day for the individual competitors. What type of recovery will Pat have tomorrow? Is it a complete no movement day, or will there be light physical activity?
Tomorrow will base on him, but it will be my guess that he will not want to move. Most likely he'll do a little bit of body work, maybe a few minutes of stretching, but we're gonna do what we can so that he eats and he sleeps and he just kind of stays horizontal for as long as he can.
Thanks for your time, Michelle. We'll let you get back to the action.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Pat Vellner in 5th place right now on the seat. Justin Medeiros, he and Brent Fikowski and Saxon Panchik have been trading the lead here. And Medeiros is now looking to close out his round of 8. He is right next to the man he's battling with here in this heat. Brent Fikowski on the right of your screen.
Fikowski still opting for those short breaks, short sets, and as long as you can stay on a pace and have the discipline to stay on that pace, that's going to bode well for Fikowski. I wouldn't be surprised once we get to the round of 5, that's when he's going to start hanging on to the barbell.
Brent Fikowski with 1 to go here in this round of 8. Justin Medeiros with 1 to go. Medeiros is done first, and he and Saxon Panchik will move back to the wall together for their rounds of 7. Noah Olson, bottom right of your screen, currently sits in 4th place. I want to thank Rogue, the official equipment supplier of the Noble CrossFit Games and the official air bike of CrossFit.
You shouldn't be surprised to see Saxon Panchik up here. In this field, Saxon Panchik has the 2nd best time from 21.1, 5th best overall in the world, and that came from Saxon, not Scott. Saxon. So when you talk about wall walks, Saxon has equal strength to Scott Panchik, right? Scott has the experience, but Saxon is right on par with him, but he has a better conditioned wall walk if you're looking at the 21.1 results for Saxon Panchik.
Brent Fikowski and Medeiros and Panchik, who's on your screen right now. They are your leaders. Noah Olson in that fight as well. And Pat Vellner is only a couple reps behind them. It is a logjam at the front of this heat. The time to beat still belongs to Scott Panchik, 13:39.61 seconds.
Now the time is like, where's the halfway point? And it's about mid-round of this round, round number 7. So we're right past that 7-minute mark. These athletes are on pace because you don't have big bulk sets, but what you do have is you have more transitions. So as we get closer to the end, it's actually your transitions that are going to need to speed up if you want to keep pace with Scott Panchik's time of 13:39.
Brent Fikowski is done with his 7 wall walks and now back to the barbell for 7 more thrusters at 185 pounds. And here comes Justin Medeiros right behind him. Fikowski goes right to work. Brent Fikowski coming into this event unofficially 3rd place overall.
Fikowski's been doing 3-rep sets every single time with a couple 2s in there based off the numbers that he's working with.
He's your top 3 in this 2nd and final heat. Bottom right is Noah Olson. He sits in 4th place right now. Now 3rd as he is neck and neck with Saxon Panchik. Panchik continuing to work on his thrusters, and he is now in the lead. It's Medeiros and Fikowski who have been out front for the entirety of this 2nd heat. And on the left.
And on that set of 7, Fikowski went 3, 2, 2 to get to a set of 7. So he's trying to put most of his sets in about 3 or 4 sets. So when you move to the round of 6, don't be surprised if you see 2 sets of 3 from Brent Fikowski.
Saxon Panchik through 68 of the 110 total repetitions. He is on his round of 6. This will be the final round that they complete on this wall. Then they will move to the 2nd wall and do rounds 5 through 1. Brent Fikowski back in front as the lead continues to get traded around here. Fikowski with 2 wall walks, 3 make that wall walks remaining, it looks like, according to his judge.
What Fikowski's trying to do is he's trying to walk his feet up. He's on the right side of your screen as high as he can and get piked as early as possible. And what that does is that the more vertical you can get with your torso, the less stress you're actually going to have on the front part of the shoulders. Now you're just stacking skeletal structure. Now you're basically handstand walking instead of doing pressing with your shoulders. So when you can pike like that, and move as efficiently as Fikowski, it's saving his shoulders for what he's going to need for these heavy thrusters.
Fikowski back to the barbell as he is now fighting with Saxon Panchik on the bottom left of your screen for first place. Justin Medeiros is coming back to the barbell as well. Noah Olson is also through his round of 6 wall walks. Saxon Panchik trying to chase down his older brother, who has the time to beat in the bottom left-hand part of your screen.
Fikowski on the right, hit a set of 3. Saxon on the left is hanging on to the bar, and Medeiros had a shorter break on that set of 6.
Justin Medeiros is now in the lead, and he will begin his round of 5 wall walks.
Medeiros has been breaking it up the same as Fikowski has, but what would we say coming into this? Once you get to the round of 5, the breaks have to stop. You're gonna have to hang on to that bar because now you don't have enough reps to separate yourself. Now it's gonna come down to the intensity that you keep in these last 15 reps for the wall walks and the heavy thrusters.
Brent Fikowski keeping even with Medeiros. Medeiros just 1 rep ahead of Fikowski. Saxon Panchik 2 reps behind the 2 of them, and Noah Olson is still creeping. Now, meanwhile, the far right of your screen in the red shorts, that is overall leader Jonakoski. He is falling off the lead pacer, and remember, some of the times from the first heat may factor in, so Koski might watch the overall lead slip through his fingers here if he can't make up some ground in this event.
And it's the barbell, it's the weight of the thruster that's the crux for Koski. We know he has the capacity of the wall walk, but Medeiros looks like he's found a second win, and he's going unbroken on this set of 5. Now I want to see what Fikowski does. He's been breaking every time since, and now he's holding on to the bar. That's what I wanted to see from Brent Fikowski.
Medeiros and Fikowski go 5 unbroken, now into the round of 4. Scott Panchik's time of 13:39.61 seconds is quickly approaching. Pat Vellner is in 5th place in this heat right now, and Vellner getting to work on his set of 5 thrusters.
For Vellner, he has great thrusters. He's got a nice upright position that's going to allow the bar to rest more on the shoulders so he doesn't have to hold it more with the shoulders.
Vellner through his round of 5. Justin Medeiros closing out his round of 4 wall walks. He is 1 rep ahead of Brent Fikowski. Saxon Panchik stays in 3rd, and it's Noah Olson in 4th. Medeiros back to the barbell. 4 thrusters at 185. And he is starting to put some distance between himself and Brent Fikowski. And Medeiros rifles through those. He's got to advance his barbell. The judge calling him back. Medeiros will do that. Fikowski has now just begun his round of 4. So Justin Medeiros separating himself late here from Brent Fikowski.
And what are we seeing? We're seeing more aggressive pace, more intensity, attack mode from Medeiros. We talked to Michelle Atandra, the coach for Pat Vellner. How about Adam Neiffer, one of the most seasoned CrossFit veterans ever in the sport? Oh, guess who he did a training camp with twice in the offseason? Matt Fraser. Where do you think he got this tenacity from the end?
Medeiros may not be able to beat Scott Panchik's time, so Panchik is looking at his 2nd career event win here. Now the question is, who is going to win this heat? This is the round of 3 for Justin Medeiros, so Scott Panchik's time is going to stand. And he will earn 100 points as Panchik will move up the leaderboard. Scott Panchik will. Brent Fikowski is now on his round of 3. Medeiros back to the wall for 2 wall walks. Saxon Panchik, bottom left of your screen, is in 3rd place in this heat. The 2nd best time behind Panchik is Jay Crouch at 15:18.65. Here comes Medeiros back to the barbell. 2 reps for him.
That's a time Fikowski needs to be aware of.
Final round for Justin Medeiros. Fikowski back to the barbell. 97 points will go to 2nd place. Right now it's Jay Crouch at 15:18.65. Medeiros final wall walk is down. Fikowski back to the wall for the final time. Justin Medeiros is in, and Medeiros will take first place in the heat, second place in the event, and 97 points. Brent Fikowski can get a third place finish. Fikowski is in. Fikowski will earn 94 points. 15:18 is the next best time, and Saxon Panchik is going to creep in underneath that, so Panchik is going to finish fourth. So two Panchik brothers inside the top 5 in this event. Pat Vellner and Noah Olson fighting through their final rep. Vellner taking a look at Olson. Olson right to the bar. Vellner was there first. Vellner locks it out. Barbell is down. Olson may have gotten across, but Vellner slid. We'll have to go to the timing chip. Olson 15:35.01. Just ahead of Pat Vellner. Vellner will take 7th in the event. Olson will take 6th, and that means that Jay Crouch, he will wind up in 5th. Now, Jonakoski, who is your overall leader coming into this event, is trying to do some damage control because the two men directly behind him in the overall standings, the two of the men in the top 4 have already finished. Brent Fikowski is in, and Justin Medeiros, who's 5th, is already in. So try not to surrender too many points to those two. Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson came in 2nd place unofficially in this event. He's on the right of your screen.
And he's behind Jonakoski. And so all I'm seeing is a compression of the top 5 athletes on top of the leaderboard.
Lazar Jukic is in. 21-minute time cap here, and still plenty of athletes on the floor working. Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson, as Jukic's time is going to be good enough for 10th place in the event. Gudmundsson is in. Bjorn Carl Gudmundsson, as Andre Houdet also came across the finish line. Gudmundsson will take unofficially 12th place in the event. That's going to be good for 67 points. Alexander Caron in the round of 4, or 5 make that. Caron well off the lead pace. There's Samuel Cornuet, who has had a pretty good day 1. Cornuet coming in 8th place overall. He is your leader on the floor.
The faces of these athletes as they chip away on these wall walks is one for the record books. A grueling test.
Final wall walk for Cornway in this round. And he's heading back to the barbell for his round of 2.
And all this is great for Scott Panchik. He's sitting outside, it was what, 22nd or 24th coming in. And look at all these athletes that were sitting in the top 10, top 15 that are not, or possibly not going to finish this event, and the ones before that. So Scott, who we're like, almost left for dead after 3 events, he might see himself in the top 15, approaching the top 10 just after this event 4 win.
Yeah, don't get attached to any leaderboards, because for the first time in a long time, the men's leaderboard is quite volatile at this point.
We can see the men's leaderboard kind of like Game of Thrones, right? You can't have a favorite character because they're going to get killed off in the next episode.
Cornuet is in 18:36.67, and now Jason Hopper is still on the competition floor. Hopper coming in 15th place overall.
And he's getting a no rep because what you can't have is you cannot have your hands move away from the tape line without both feet on the wall. And you can just see how difficult this is getting for Hopper. Now there's one thing to note, look at the ground. There's no matting on the ground. What did we see in the open, right? We put like Dahmer mats, crash pads, so you can just free fall from the top. Yeah, exactly, right? And you can't have that. We don't have that here. So though this is the same volume a little bit different distance than most of these athletes had to go. Not having that pad at the bottom actually makes a massive difference in the difficulty of this movement because you have to show so much more control.
Will Morad is your leader on the floor. Morad on his final rep, and Will Morad is going to get inside that 21-minute time cap. Saxon Panchik looking on is Jason Hopper, the man who beat Scott Panchik at the Mid-Atlantic CrossFit Challenge to qualify for this event, is now back to the wall for the final time. As Justin Medeiros talks things over with Director of Sport Dave Castro. Medeiros winning this heat, 14:50.28 seconds. Good enough for second place in the event, and 97 points for him as Jason Hopper, the former Clemson wide receiver, on his final rep. And Hopper is in. 30 seconds to go before we hit the time cap. Jason Smith out of South Africa. He is the leader on the floor right now. Smith, the oldest competitor in the men's field, 37 years old. Smith has it locked out, and the vet is going to make it. A great effort from Jason Smith, and a fantastic effort from Justin Medeiros to win the heat. 14:50.28 seconds, good enough for second place in the event, but he cannot track down Scott Panchik.